So, check this out, people. I finished doing 100 sit-ups today, and I took a shower, and taking the shower was more exhausting than the sit-ups. Believe it or not, that's how hard it is for me to get through each day, but little by little, I'm getting my strength back, right? Now, I'm going to talk about dogs. I want to talk about dogs, right? Because a lot of times, women compare men to dogs, right? And I agree 100% that a lot of men are like dogs, right? Now, I'm going to talk and I'm going to say things that are going to be offensive, not just to men, but to women especially, right? Because I go on Facebook, right? As of late, I've been on Facebook a lot, right? And what I see is a bunch of bitches, right, who are teaching their little 12-year-old girls to booty pop and, you know, put on these skimpy clothes, right, and put on their underwear and pull them up high enough where you can see their line, right? So much so that you can almost see their uterus, right? And so these women who allow their little girls to do this or who encourage this, those women are bitches. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to say it. I could call them hoes, but I think they already know that, right? And so I'm going to use words here today that men are not going to like and women are not going to like. You know why? Because if you allow your 12-year-old little girl to go on Facebook and booty pop for likes, and you're holding the camera, then you're not just a hoe, but you're a bitch, right? Because you're raising your daughter to be a skank, to be a hoe, to sell herself while you pimp her out, right? And it amazes me that a lot of the times it's women who push this on their children, right? And then they want to call a man a dog. And I agree 100% that men are dogs. And I'm going to explain to you guys why I believe that a lot of men are dogs. Now, it wasn't always this way. Men weren't always dogs. There was a time when men were just dirtbags, right? There was a time when men would, you know, simply meet a woman and have sex with her, come inside her, she'd get pregnant, and who cares, right? She didn't care. So why should he care? Why should a man care to come into or inside a woman if she doesn't care, if she allows it, right? A perfect stranger, a man she just met yesterday, 3 months ago, she has kids from 3 or 4 different men, and she's proud of it, so proud that she goes on Facebook and encourages her daughters to do the same thing she does, right? So proud that she posts that she is a proud single mother, 4 kids from 4 different men. Listen, ladies, gentlemen, I've never heard a man say that he's a proud single father, ever. I've never heard a man say, I'm so proud that I have 4 or 5 kids from 4 or 5 different women, and I want to talk about that. I want to encourage it, because only a skank, a hoe, and a bitch says that she's proud to be a single mother. Just understand that, ladies. Just listen to yourselves when you say that you're a proud single mother. You're not a proud mother. You're not a proud mother of 2 boys or 2 girls or a boy and a girl. You're proud to be single and a mother. The nonsense that comes out of these women's mouths, right? Not one woman says, hey, I have 2 kids and I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of having 2 kids out of wedlock. I'm not proud of having 2 kids from 2 different men. I fucked up. I made a mistake. I want to teach my daughters not to do the same things that I did. I want to teach my daughters that there's nothing to be proud about. Being a mother of 2 children, 3 children, 4 or 5 children, and be single, there's nothing to be proud of. Nothing. Right? But only women who have no common sense, who are ghetto, who are from the streets, who listen to other hoes, encourage them, because I've never heard this up until, I don't know, some 20 years ago. I'd never heard a single woman say that she was proud to be single and a mother. Because I raised my 4 girls for 3 years by myself, and there was nothing for me to be proud of. Nothing. I never claimed to be a proud single father. Was I a single father? Yes. Was I raising 4 girls by myself? Yes. But there's nothing to be prideful about. A man who can't hold on to his wife. There's nothing to be proudful about. A man who has to raise little girls by himself, and there's no one to teach them about tampons, how to wash themselves correctly, how to be a lady and a woman, right? Because there's certain things a man can teach a girl, but there's certain things that a man cannot. A girl needs her mother. A girl needs her mother, just like a girl needs her father. And though there are many women who raise their children by themselves, there are also men who raise their children by themselves. But the only ones who take pride in doing it by themselves are women. I would never understand that. That would never make sense to me, that there are women out there who have children, right? And they never say, you know, I am a proud married woman with 3 children. It's never the married women who put out the stupidity and the nonsense that the single proud mothers put out, encouraging their young little girls to do the same stupidity that they're doing, right? And this is where we're going into the future. This is where women are going into the future. Because every time I go on Facebook, I see a 12-year-old little girl booty popping with skimpy clothes, and I guarantee you most of the time it's her mother holding the camera. Because she can't get the likes she wants to encourage her little girl, who she's so proud of, that little girl has no father. She's so proud that little girl has no father, and that she has to go to work every day, work 8 to 10 hours a day, leaving her little girl at home while her little girl is on TikTok, on Facebook, flashing grown men my age, her tits, just to get a like. And that's what women are proud of, right? And so I want to now talk about the dogs, right? Because that's what the subject is about, right? And just because I spoke about the women being bitches doesn't mean that I forgot about the men being dogs, right? So we're going to go there, ladies, right? Because I agree with most women that most men are dogs. Now, if you own a dog, ladies, or men, both, anybody, if you own a dog, you know what a dog is like, right? You know that when you feed a dog, if you pick up a stray from the street and you feed it, and you water it, and you bathe it, and you treat that dog right, what does that dog do? That dog is loyal to you for the rest of his life. It doesn't matter if you move away, if you go away, if you run into that dog again in the street, he will recognize you, he will run to you, and he will show his appreciation towards the person, the woman, who picked him up, watered him, bathed him, fed him, and gave him a home, because there is no creature in this world more faithful, more loyal than a dog. And so, yes, I do agree that most men are dogs. And that's the problem, right? Because women compare men to dogs, but they don't look at the dogs they got. They don't look at the dogs, bark, bark dog, okay, that they have at home. And they don't see how loyal that dog is. And they have the nerve to call a man a dog. Yes, I am a dog. A loyal dog, just like most dogs are, right? Who knows how to show appreciation to the woman who, when he was hungry, she fed him. When he was thirsty, she gave him to drink. And when he was sick, she nursed him. And the problem with a lot of women is that they want loyalty, but they don't know how to be loyal. They want loyalty, but they don't know how to treat the dog that goes to work for them every day, that pays the bills for them, that supports them and takes care of her 3 and 4 kids from 3 or 4 different men that they're so proud of, right? And so I'm never going to understand how most women all over the world, right, can think that that's something that they should be encouraging their little girls to be doing. That they need to be encouraging their little girls to be hoes, to be skanks, to be sluts, and to be proud of it because their mother is proud of herself for being a single mother who has to leave her little girl alone every day while she flashes her male neighbors in their 40s just for a like. And the mother thinks that's cute. They think it's cute to be proud and single, right? Because there's nothing to be proud about, ladies. Where you got that nonsense, where you got that stupidity to go on Facebook and put on your post or on your social media or on your dating app, where you women go on these dating apps with your 3 or 4 kids talking about, I'm a proud mother of 4 little girls or 4 little boys or 2 boys and 2 girls. Looking for a serious relationship when you couldn't even keep the first relationship, the second, the third, or the fourth from the 3 or 4 men who are now fathering your children, right? That is what women are teaching men today. And when men like me come along and say, hey, you don't got no class, lady. Men don't want that. And then you wonder why you got 3 or 4 kids, because the first guy who came saw you with a kid from a man that you just met 3 months ago. Your son is 2 months old and you're already on a dating app. How about you raise your kid? How about that? Because when I was raising my 4 daughters, I wasn't on a dating app. When I was raising my 4 daughters by myself and I was going to work every day, I was leaving work to check up on them because I had to do it. There was nothing to be proud about. There was nothing for me to be conceited about. Raising 4 girls by myself, because children need a mother. Just like they need a dog, they need their father, who's loyal, who's faithful, and who's protective of his family, just like any dog, right? The problem is that women don't want good men. They don't want a nice guy. They don't want a man to be home. They just want to collect their welfare check, their EBT card, their cash allowance, their Section 8, and have a man come over once a week, hit it and quit it. And then they got the nerve to call men dogs when most women have a body count that's deeper than mine. They have a body count that's so skanky and so hoey that they wonder why men don't stay. They think it's cute to tell a man, yeah, I go on these apps to pick up guys. I'm proud of being single and having 3 or 4 different kids from 4 or 5 different men, right? How about your daughter? How about you teach your daughter that there's nothing conceited about that there's nothing to be proud about, that she needs to plan her life, to think ahead, not to give it to the first man she thinks she's in love with or who she thinks loves her, but to use her mind to protect herself, right? And to not allow her emotions to give it to the first guy who she thinks is cute or who has a cute smile, right? And so the worst thing I've done since I've been here in the Philippines, because I don't have anything to do, is go on social media to see what's going on, because every time I go on Facebook, that's where I find that 90% of the little girls who are on there, 90% of the women who are on there are skanky hoes, encouraging their daughters to be the same, calling men dogs, which we are, loyal, faithful, and protective of our families, because that's what dogs do, right? And The problem with women is that they don't realize that. They don't understand that. They think that they can keep a man by simply opening their legs and allowing him in. Right? I'm going to tell you guys a story, right, about a girl I dated some years ago, many, many years ago. Right? When I met her, I was like, when I saw this woman, I thought she had the most beautiful eyes, the most beautiful smile. I had to find her. I had to get to know her. And I did, right? I was like a crazy person, obsessed. I tracked her down. I called her up. We talked. I told her exactly who I was and what I thought about her. And we met. And the very first time that I brought her to my house and she stayed with me, she stayed with me for 2 weeks. She slept with me in my bed. I went to work every morning. I came back home to her. She was there waiting for me. Whether or not she left the house while I was at work is irrelevant because I don't expect a woman to sit at home with nothing to do, right? But I came home to her every day. She was always there when I got home. And for the first 2 weeks that we were together, we slept in the same bed. We woke up next to each other. And not one time did I touch her. Not one time did we have sex. Why? Because she wasn't ready for it. She wasn't interested in it. She didn't have to say it because she didn't. I knew it by her vibe. I knew it by the way she felt uncomfortable when we laid together. I gave her her space, and when I saw that she was comfortable enough for me to get closer, I got close because she got close. And it took 2 weeks before she and I actually had sex and consummated our relationship, right? That's a woman with class, a classy woman who knows how to observe her situation and look at the man that is in her life or wants to be in her life. And to know that what she has is precious, right? So precious that she's not just going to give it to the first man who lays in her bed or whose bed she lays in, right? These are the types of women that men respect. These are the types of women that men always go back to. These are the types of women that men want to support and do things for and treat them right, regardless of whether the relationship works out or not, right? And the problem with most women is that they're so easily, they're just so easy. They are so weak, and yet they want to call men dogs and pigs and all of these things. Listen, ladies, I know more hoes, sluts, and skanks than I know men who are dogs. Well, no. I know a lot of dogs because I'm a dog, loyal, faithful, and protective, right? To my family, my girlfriend, my wife, my friends, and those around me who I care for, right? But women have forgotten their place. They've forgotten who they are. They've forgotten what pride is. There are two people that children call on in their lifetime. Two people who children call on, both male and female, both man and woman, boy and girl. Only two people in our lifetime who we call on. When we're hungry, as children, we call on our mother to feed us. Ma, I'm hungry, right? And then when we grow up, when there's nothing for us and there's no one there for us and our life is falling apart, we call on God. God, I need you. Oh my God, right? Two people, our mother and God. Because there's nothing closer to God than a mother. When a child calls on his mother, it's like a grown man in dire need who calls on God. And when you disrespect your mother, you might as well be disrespecting God. because those are the only two people in life where or who we can depend on as children and as grown-ups. And if women don't know how to be mothers, how can they call on God when they need him, when they can't even take care of their own children, and their own children can't even call on their mother because their mother is too busy hoeing around, picking up different men, strays, picking up strays and bringing them home, right? Because she's not picking up dogs, she's picking up strays, bringing them home full of fleas, full of disease, and allowing her children to see this. And then when those children grow up, they grow up doing what they know. Children only do what they know. And so when they become women and men, these women and men do the only thing they know. And if your daughter grows up to be a hoe, it's because she saw that at home. If your son becomes abusive to his wife, it's because you were abusive to your wife. And so men have to start being fathers to their children, but mothers most of all have to start being mothers to their children. Because it is the mother who's the nurturer. It is the mother who is the one who comforts and who holds the family together while the man goes out and takes care of business so that his family can be provided for and protected. And the problem with this day and age is that women have forgotten their place. Men haven't forgotten their place, ladies. Men haven't forgotten their place. I can tell you this for a fact because I don't hang out with bums. All of my friends have families of their own. They all work. They all have businesses. They all have mortgages. They all have cars they finance. They are men. I don't fuck around with bums. I don't hang out with bums. And me as a man, if I don't hang out with bums, why would you, a woman, hang out with a bum? Why would you allow a bum in your house, in front of your daughters, in front of your son? And so, I'm never going to understand the mind of a woman today. And so, when a man finds a woman who's worth his time, he's going to give her everything that he has, and the things he doesn't have, he's going to go out and get and find and bring back to her, just like a dog does when he is picked up from the street. He's bathed, he's watered, he's fed, and he's given a place to be, a quiet place, a place of comfort, right? And the problem is that women don't know how to treat men. They treat their dogs better than they do a man. And then they want to say that all men are dogs. This is the problem, ladies. The men you fuck with ain't shit. The men you fuck with ain't nobody. And because you fuck with low-life bums who don't work, who wear their pants halfway down their ass and got their Timberlands, right? And looks cute to you because he's a thug and he knows how to hit it right. Then when he hits it, quits it, and then 3 months later you find out you're pregnant, you start to bitch and complain and start to hate all men because the men you choose don't got no class. And they don't have class because a woman with no class can't understand what class is. She doesn't see it. When she sees a man who has class, who's well-dressed and well-versed and knows how to talk and knows how to act, and knows how to say hello and keep it moving because he's not interested in every girl who has a nice ass, right? When I was raising my 4 daughters by myself, many women found that attractive. They found that very attractive because they had never seen a man who was raising children on his own, especially girls, right? And they always saw me at home. They always saw me going to work, and they never saw me with different women. They didn't see that because I wasn't going to allow that. And if my daughters saw a woman in my house, they saw her sitting on the couch with me and having a conversation. And they didn't see anything else. They didn't see her waking up in the morning next to me playing mommy. They didn't play mommy with her, with my kids. I wouldn't allow that. I didn't allow them to cook for my children. I didn't allow them to ask my kids how their day was at school. My kids had a mother and they have a mother. So why would I allow some Johnny come lately who just got here yesterday and allow them to be around my children who they don't even know who this woman is? I don't know who this woman is. So why would I allow some woman who just got here yesterday to be around my children? And this is what I'll never understand when it comes to women, how they allow all these men to come in and out of their lives, how they allow their daughters, their sons to see how hoey and slutty their mother is. And when they see that about their mother, they say, hey, if my mother did it, I can do it too. Right? So this video has gone on long enough, and most people have no attention span, very small attention span. This is why they watch TikTok and not YouTube or Facebook. And when they do, they go to the shorts. I'm not interested in TikTok. I'm not interested in talking to people who have a short attention span. My audience are a very small audience who want to hear the truth, want to hear the truth spoken the way it should be, without any nonsense, without any sugarcoating, because people don't understand things unless you lay it out for them. And sometimes you got to put a fuck on it just so they could understand. And this is why most of the time I have to put a disclaimer on my videos so that women, parents, cannot allow their children to watch me. But if a woman allows a man between her thighs every other day, a different man, and she allows her children to see this, and she has 3 or 4 different children from 4 or 5 different men, why wouldn't she allow her daughter, who's 12 years old, go on Facebook and entertain grown-ass men? Because her mother did the same thing to her, and now she's doing the same thing to her daughter. Anyway, bitches and dogs, thank you people for watching. Have a good day and have a good night.